Hello, everybody, and welcome to Game AV Podcast. I'm your host, Mario Glover, and today's special guest, we have Dylan Betcher in the building, owner of Royal Legacy Clothing, co-owner of Royal Legacy Clothing, and owner of Hustle Life Podcast. Dylan, what it do?
How's it going, man?
Man, I must admit, man, when I came up with this podcast, thought Dylan was the first person I called, and I'm talking about instantly came through for me. Uh, I'm talking about mic, apps, everything. Good logos, good information. Anytime I asked him, like, yo, he's a real good dude, and I can't thank you enough for that.
Like I said, man, congrats on starting. Because I mean, a lot of people might ask or inquire, but like, yo, you got the info and you ran with it. Like, you started it. Like, shout out to I seen the new logo. Obviously, you showed me that you're gonna be having coming out. So like, yeah, man, like you jumped on it, and like you've already knocked out a few episodes. So that's dope to see too, because it's like you were about it, and you made it happen.
Yeah.
So congrats on that.
My plan. Like, that's what's up, though, man. But we'll jump straight off into it. What made you start clothing line?
Yeah, so basically, like in high school, I mean, we went to high school together, so I was into like fashion or just kind of like dressing nice. I mean, most of us were, like that was the thing in high school, was just to look good and dress good and stuff like that. But I remember I always say like Justin Bird and Ronnie McCoy, they plugged me in with this guy named Robert Montalvo who was like a local kind of like clothing guy. And he worked for some big brands. Well, he used to kind of have the hookup on some clothes. Mm-hmm. So, they would set me up with him to like he had like this warehouse where he had like dope clothing for cheap. And then I found out like he had his own clothing line and everything. So I was like, oh, wow, it's dope. Like he's from Lansing, had his own clothing line. And really it came from my brother, like when my brother, he was 4 years older than me. So, and he started his own business, like graphic design. You used to get ringtones,
all that stuff. Yeah. Pull up at the crib.
Yeah. So he was always kind of like had the entrepreneur kind of mindset, and it kind of just bled into me basically. Like I wanted to do something. So the combination of both of those, like me liking fashion, realizing like, oh man, somebody from Lansing started a clothing line, and then like my brother, like right out of high school, starting his own company, which was graphic design and stuff. It pretty much made it known, like, all right, this is what I'm going to do. Like, I love fashion. I love clothing. I'm going to figure this out. Hook up with a couple guys who know how to screen print. My brother was screen printing, too, at the time. So it just kind of led to that. And that's when I started Crazy Cartel with my boy Manny. Manuel, we went to school with him. Crazy Cartel was more like we just wanted to make, like, I don't know, like fun, like, fun shit, basically, like cool clothing at that time. And did that for a couple of years, but then like my fashion sense kind of changed. Like I wanted to wear like this is part of the clothing right here. I wanted to wear more like clean, just kind of like button shirts and stuff like that. So that's when I was like with Nick Crackalack, and basically hit him up and was like, look, man. I had him wearing Crazy Cartel because he was a music producer, so I kind of had him as like a quote unquote like sponsored guy. Mm-hmm. But his fashion kind of was changing too to more like this stuff. So we both just kind of like, talked about it and came up with the name, Royal Legacy.
Okay, cool. Back at it. That's what's up, though. Where did the name come from, Royal Legacy?
Yeah. So basically, it was like, man, we're both ambitious people, like me and Crackalack, and it was kind of like, man, we got to think of something that's going to like portray that, like because we're not going to make too much of graphic t-shirts or anything, so we're not going to be able to put too much wording that kind of shows people what the clothing is meant to be. But basically, we were putting, hold on one second. Yeah, so basically, like, we wanted, like, a clothing line that kind of, like, showed, like, the motivation and stuff behind it. So it was like, yo, everybody leaves behind a legacy. Like, whenever you see, like, when Kobe passed away, Muhammad Ali, like, anytime you expect, I watch a lot of sports, obviously, so, like, whenever somebody like that, they're always talking about legacy, like, oh, what legacy they left behind. So it was just like, man, like, legacy is such an important thing in everybody's lives because, like, everybody leaves that behind. So it's kind of up to you to choose what kind of legacy you leave behind. And then Royal, basically, like, we didn't want it to be so much, like, royal, like, as in, like, king and queen too much, like, like royal that way. It just means like royal is in like make sure your legacy is royal, like
Right.
good, you know, like
Yeah.
that you leave behind like a royal legacy, you know.
That's
So
what's up.
that's kind of how we came up with the name.
And man, creativity is the thing Dylan got. Jason
Well, I
had.
think that's kind of like what's crazy about it too is like we weren't sure. Like when we did Royal Legacy, it was like when you're coming up with a name, sometimes it's hard to like, you know, like sometimes you overthink it. Like man, like you know, we were worried about like the initials RL, like people thinking we were trying to like bite off like Ralph Lauren or something. But
Right.
like at the end of the day, it was like, no, let's just go with it. You know, like you can't overthink things too much sometimes.
That's what's up, man. What like new clothing do you plan on coming out with? Other than I see you got like the baseball T-shirts and different things like that. I mean, you know, you got your website, different T-shirts and stuff like that. But do you have anything like new that up your sleeve you plan on coming out with?
Yeah. So basically, like back when me and my wife got married a couple years ago, like me and Nick me and Crackalack kind of like took a little bit of a pause. So we were still coming out with stuff, but we weren't like going extra hard with it just because like I was getting married and then like, you know, me and my wife got pregnant right after. So, you know, Royal Legacy is more of like a side hustle.
Yeah.
It's not like me and Crack's like main business.
Right.
Or main businesses. So our main ways we make money. And actually we've never actually pocketed money from Royal Legacy. Like that's kind of how like startup businesses like that, especially like a clothing line is. Like any money you make, it just pretty much goes back into the business. You got to buy more inventory, stuff like that. So, you know, we just kind of had to put like a pause on it, and we're still kind of in like that pause period.
Mm-hmm.
But we want to come out with more stuff this winter. So, and the reason we kind of took a pause too was like it got tough, man. Like the type of shirts we want to make, like you pretty much have to go get from China. Or you have to go get some. It's like cut and sew, like custom work. Which in the last couple years, since we took a break, finding those type of manufacturers is a lot easier now than it was even just 2 years ago. So we're going to be in a good spot. Like I've already came across a couple contacts that I'm going to be hitting up here soon, and yeah, basically come out with some more hoodies. More of like Moneyball actually came out with like the nice sweatsuit. Type stuff. So I mean, we'll be coming out with similar stuff like that. Not necessarily the design, but
correct.
Like you know,
the tracksuit, jogger type.
Yeah,
deal.
Sweatsuit, joggers. You know, because we tried to come out with a couple of joggers, but we buy blanks. Basically, we source already like made shirts, and then we put our tags on them, then we embroider them, or we put a design on them. Where the next step is basically we just start with like a piece of fabric. And somebody custom cuts it and custom does everything exactly how we want it. So that's where we're next. You know, like that's the next step.
Yeah, it sounds very timely.
Yeah, and I mean, in the last 2 years too, me and Nick have really learned like Facebook ads, and we really like understand Instagram way more, and like we understand that marketing aspect of it because that's huge, even for a podcast, for anything. Like knowing how to market it. Is like it's huge.
Right. I ain't playing. You know, I've been going through the many different people myself and things and sources to try to see if I can get some shirts and stuff going. So I know it's a very timely and you know, it can be difficult at some time thing, but you know, once you get it there, it's good. Like you know, because Royal Legacy been around for a long time and well known, especially around the city.
Yeah.
That's what's up. So how is the supply and demand for your clothing brand?
Definitely, like our main kind of customers still come from Michigan. So we notice our best seasons are always like wintertime because like Michigan's always cold and everybody loves hoodies. It seems like people in Michigan buy more hoodies and more like sweatsuit type stuff than they do actual T-shirts. So like it's cool to kind of you know see you start to learn your demographic basically. So. You know, the supply for like the hooded stuff is always like, well, you know, when we come out with that stuff, T-shirts are a hard sell, man, to be honest. Like, again, with a brand, like you're building your brand, you're trying to find like that perfect price point and stuff like that. So, you know, we had gotten up to like a pretty good demand for it, you know, in our local area. And then like the next step was just trying to like, you know, really push it to like the United States. And that's where we feel like now we've learned to figure out how to do that,
Mm-hmm.
so we can really like make that supply or the demand more for our brand.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. Like I said, man, I've been trying to tap in with the Game Made Me clothing, so I see the struggle, but that's what's up.
Yeah, man, it's hard, man. Building a brand is hard. Like it's really like that's what we didn't do enough at the beginning. Is just like really like push like what the brand was about, and like really be like we tried being bigger too. We tried being too big. Like we tried acting like we're like some corporate like big company, and it's like nah, we gotta be more personable. Like really like understand like we're a small company, and like just be way more like personable and way more like as a brand, like way more, I don't know, just out there basically.
I understand. I totally understand. So it's like jumping out there. That was the biggest struggle for you, was jumping out thinking that you were big time out the gate.
Yeah, exactly. Or like we wanted to perceive like we were big time jumping out the gate, which like it helped a little bit at times, like you know, kind of like acting more like big time. But I feel like most of the time, yeah, it just people miss the message. Like you know, they just really didn't understand the brand at first.
Right. Hopefully they tap in with this, understand the message, and want to tap in with Royal like I am.
Yeah. No, for sure.
I'm just waiting on my stuff now. But on the podcast side, like what made you want to start a podcast?
Yeah, I think I was telling you before too, and I used to joke with Crackalack a lot. Like if I was still in Michigan, because I'm in Florida now, obviously. That like I don't know. I've always liked like the Jimmy Fallon, the Jimmy Kimmel, like just those like late night talk shows.
Mm-hmm.
So like I've always kind of like low key wanted to do like some type of talk show, and I was like, man, if I still lived in Lansing, I would kind of do like a talk show type thing. And this was like a few years back. Well, like fast forward a couple of years, and now podcasts are becoming like more and more hot. So it's like, well, I mean, honestly, like I could just do it via like a podcast, and Zoom is more popular. So it's like, well, I don't need people in person no more. So it just kind of like worked out that way. And then, yeah, I mean, it was kind of like you got the idea and you jumped on it. And like, same thing with me. It was like, I got the idea. I hit up a couple people, like how you hit me up. I hit up a couple people I knew that did it,
mm-hmm.
and I just jumped on it like right away. So, yeah, it just kind of happened. Oh well, I should say COVID, man. COVID really kind of like pushed it to happen.
Yeah.
Because like last year, man, when you know business was slow, my job was slow, like everybody was quarantining, like I don't know, it just kind of it like it like sped up my motivation to do certain stuff, and like so that was kind of my takeaway from COVID, I guess.
Correct. That's how it was. That's how it was for me too. Just being bored. That's why, I was able to just take off with the idea like that, because I can't do nothing else. I can't, really occupy my time. So it's just like I was like, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
And you came up with the perfect thing, and I'm not mad at you. That's what I'm saying. I watched. I'm like, yeah, man, like. I'm proud, and to know that you do everything yourself, your editing, everything. You told me it's a timely thing, but you get it done. And it's great, like great work, stuff like that. Like that's what's up. Like
yeah, that's just like learning from again like Crackalack, my brother. Like this, my brother's been gone now for like 6 years, but prior to that, yeah, I know, man. Yeah, and like prior to that, like I learned enough camera work from him, and I know a lot changes like every year, like softwares and like new stuff comes out, but like I kind of got like my base knowledge of graphic design and everything from him, and then like I just kept going from there, and then I learned from Crackalack, and I just kind of always look up new stuff, look up how to do things. YouTube. Yes.
Yes, you told me that for sure, because that's the biggest thing, man. That YouTube really kicks in and does what it does. I'm not playing Dylan, but what's the message of your podcast? I know it's Hustlepreneur life, but like just what's the message behind that?
Yeah, so like one day, man, like I don't know, like I've always been big on hustle, like even just anytime, like with sports, with anything, like the word hustle just like is embedded in me. Like, I try to hustle hard, like on anything I do. And, I feel like I'm an entrepreneur at heart, but like, I wouldn't say like I'm a full blown kind of like traditional entrepreneur where it's like I don't have a 9 to 5, I don't have a job, I'm like focused hard on like, you know, starting a business. Like I'm not that hardcore of an entrepreneur. Like I still have a job, you know, and all that stuff, but I want more than just that job. You know, like I want some side hustles, I want stuff like that. So that just kind of like, I don't know, hustlepreneur just kind of, I just kind of blended it because it's like a new breed of entrepreneurs nowadays where it's like I said back before, if you thought of an entrepreneur, you might think of a guy in a business suit, like, you know, walking around with a briefcase, owning a business, you know, stuff like that. And like in 2020, 2021, like that's not the case no more. Like entrepreneurs look like normal people, like, you know, they're kids now freaking, you know, on their computers making money, or they could be a kid that plays Call of Duty all day and streams it and has like millions of viewers, you know, making mad money from it. So like,
yeah, I did the interview, and in the interview they said that they got their sons a clothing line, Billy Boys. Shout out to Premium Billy, but they got their sons. They entrepreneurs already, and they don't even know it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's what's up, man.
So that's where I came up with like hustlepreneur, just I don't know, to make it more of like a modern day like entrepreneur, basically. Like we're hustlepreneurs now. Like we do anything to survive or to succeed. So we'll work a 9 to 5 if we have to, but after that 9 to 5 ends, you know, we're working on a side hustle, you know, or vice versa. Like, you know, or you could be just strictly entrepreneur, but you might not own one business. You might invest like in the stock market. You might day trade. You might, but at the same time, you own a clothing line. You know, you got like 4 things you're working on, you know, like that's the hustle. That's the hustlepreneur. So the point of the podcast is to interview people like that. Like I've had a Facebook ads guy on there who, you know, like works, you know, that's what he does all day long is like does Facebook ads for different people. I had a music producer, Crackalack, on there. I had a guy who wholesales and flips houses. You know, I had a realtor on there. You know, I had Moneyball. I had Desmond Ferguson. Shout out to Moneyball from in Lansing. Like, you know, he's, you know, he might not be a traditional looking, you know, suit and tie entrepreneur, but he's got a successful business. You know, he's a basketball player, like a basketball player who had the hustle to start his own business. You know,
correct.
So
yeah, I'm chasing that movement and everything like that, and I'm looking to get them on my radar as well because, you know, again, I watched show interview and stuff like that, and just kind of listening to him, you know what I'm saying, that was very interesting, you know, to see where Moneyball is and the quality of they clothing, you know. Moneyball been hot around the city for I don't know how long.
I think he said like 17 years now or something like that is what he said. Yeah, it's crazy, man. He said like they still haven't gotten exactly where they, you know, I mean, the sky's still the limit for them, you know, so it's crazy. 17 years in, you know, that's the grind. That's the, you know, that's the hustle. You know?
How do you market both like your podcast and your clothing brand? Like, is it like, do you do one at one time and then you do the other, or it's like?
Yeah, luckily still like Royal Legacy, it's still it's still kind of paused right now. The website's active. We still got some inventory, but we haven't came out with anything new. So I haven't had to manage both at the same time yet. But it's all about just getting organized. Like basically, I always post on Instagram. I use basically Instagram and Facebook for both. I don't get on Twitter no more, so I don't use Twitter or nothing to promote. And then obviously the Hustlepreneur Life is like on YouTube. So, you know, with Royal Legacy, it was like we would post, but we also paid like Facebook ads and stuff like that to really market it and push it out, which when we start that back up, that's what we'll be doing. But as far as the Hustlepreneur, I haven't paid yet for like any ads. I'm just kind of using organic. The point of like interviewing other people is so that they can share it to their people, and it kind of gets views from my people who want to look, and then it gets views from, you know, their friends and stuff that want to look. But eventually I'll probably start paying for ads also for that one. But I'm just kind of rolling with it how it is right now. But yeah, mainly just Facebook, Instagram, and then obviously I post the Hustlepreneur on YouTube also.
That's what's up. You know, I done picked up some of your schemes, so I'm with it. Yeah.
It's just making a schedule, man. Like trying to post every day. The stories on Instagram and Facebook are really where it's at. Like, so like I try. You know, I've been busy with my new job now, so like I haven't been able to post on Hustlepreneur as much. But like once I get settled in, like I'll go back to like I was trying to post twice a day on the feed, just basically something, you know, motivational stuff basically, because that's what I want the Hustlepreneur life to be, is like to motivate people. And then yeah, same thing with the stories, like always making sure there's story posts so that, you know, people like looking at the stories and just getting motivated, you know?
Yeah. No, I feel it, man, because, you know, I kind of, again, I don't really want to sound like I jocked you or nothing, but that's where I kind of came up with the small business, the entrepreneurs, and then, you know, turn around the influencers, because it's like it's people around me that done did some savage shit, you know what I'm saying? And it's like they done turned into different people, you know what I'm saying? They you know, being young, growing up, they done did different stuff, you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, they can be an influencer to younger kids running around doing that, you know what I'm saying? So I do focus on business. I love the business thing, and I love the hustling people in the game, you know, but it's like, I also want to push that message that, you know, people mess up, but that don't mean it's the end of the road. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That don't mean that you can't change and be different. That don't mean you can't listen to this message and actually take it in. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what, and that is what's great about entrepreneurship and stuff like that, is because like you can mess up and come back and still make it, because it's really, at the end of the day, it's all about your hustle. Like, yeah, if you have a job or something, if you mess up, and you might have a hard time getting rehired or something like that, but you know, entrepreneurship, I mean, it really is like up to you. You know, I mean, again, they say, I mean, I don't know the exact numbers, but you're going to fail multiple times, you know, before you really succeed, you know? So it's just having that toughness and that grit. You know, I mean, again, Desmond too. I mean, I really love Desmond's podcast, because Moneyball, like, yeah, they've been through a couple times where, you know, it looked like things might have to close down, and he turned savage mode on and bossed up and like fought through it and made it out. So it's just, it's cool to hear. Yeah,
I think it was what, 09?
Yeah,
09 was the point in time. Yep. So yeah, that's why, again, they on my radar, because they bounce back like a dribble. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, again, you said it's not your everyday suit and tie type entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? It's the joggers or the t-shirt and hat type, you know, entrepreneurs, and ain't nothing wrong with it.
And that's why I think Shark Tank, honestly, has been like a big push, a big reason for that. Like, I think ever since Shark Tank came out, like, it's really shown people that, yeah, like anybody, you know, anybody can do this, or anybody can be an entrepreneur, and like, it, you know, you can learn from anybody, you can network with anybody. Like, you know, I don't know. I've always liked the saying, this is kind of like slightly off topic of this, but like, I've always liked the saying where it's like, treat the janitor like you would the CEO, because like nowadays you don't know who's doing what. Like, and for one, it doesn't kill you to be kind to everybody, but yeah, like money doesn't look like suit and tie anymore, you know? Like anybody can have money at this point. Like I said, there's 16-year-olds that are making like millions a year because they do like toy reviews on YouTube or whatever, you know? Like, I'm sure your kids jump on YouTube and watch like other kids do things on YouTube. Like,
yes, I'm talking about
those
all the time. I'd be like, oh, man.
Yeah, and those kids they're watching are making mad money.
Mad money.
Yeah, it's like serious. So
and it's the simple tools they probably using.
Yeah, and I love where like things are going, man. Just because it's like, yeah, and I think more platforms like the one I'm doing and the one you're doing, like, it doesn't hurt to have more and more of those platforms out there to like help spread the word. Because one main thing I've learned over the last couple of years is like the pie is huge. So like you don't have to be like, I think like, you know, back in the day, I think more and more people were like afraid of like, yeah, the whole like biting off each other and thinking like, you know, it was like, I don't know, like jocking somebody's style or whatever. Like that was like big back in the day. Like everybody was worried about that. But like, I mean, nowadays with the internet and just everything, I mean, the pie is so huge, man. Like I can sell clothes to India. I can sell clothes to like the whole world now, you know? So it's like, and then now a podcast, anybody around the world can listen to your podcast, you know? So it's like, the pie is humongous. Like, all you need is a little sliver and you're good, you know?
Yeah.
So it doesn't hurt to like share everybody's stuff and you know, support everybody, you know?
Yeah. How do you manage like working, being a family man, running a clothing line, and a podcast?
Yeah, that's the tough part. That's why I had to think priorities, and that's why the clothing line is kind of like on pause, or like we're not like focused on that and pushing that, just because it's like, yeah, in order to manage it all, like sometimes you have to do what's right, or kind of like, okay, hey, I got to push pause on this for a minute, and I got to focus on these things, because if you're not giving enough attention to each thing, then like you're pretty much just treading water. Yeah. Like you're not going to progress if like you're trying to do too many things. Yeah. And so I mean, the clothing line's kind of paused. The Hustlepreneur life, I was trying to hit one every week. I was trying to do an episode, but I left my job a month ago. The job I've been at for like 5 or 6 years. Like 5 or 6 years, because unfortunately COVID, just kind of hurt that industry I was in. So I made the decision to move into real estate and start doing home mortgages. And so I had to like it's like extensive, man. You got to take like this 2-week course. You got to take this exam. And then like I started the job, and I've been a couple weeks into it now, or like a week into it. So that kind of ate up some time. So it's like I skipped a couple of weeks on the Hustlepreneur. I did another podcast. I maybe skipped a week. I did another podcast because I was focused on that. So I think, it's important at times to really like give your all or give your focus to some stuff. Because again, if you never focus hard on something, you're just going to be treading water with everything if you're trying to like focus on 6 different things at one time. So, and like you said, I got my son, I got my wife, I'm not, I love being with him, I love being with her. So like, I'm not going to, I basically went to work when they both went to sleep. I was jumping on to do stuff. So like I was killing myself like till 2 a.m., doing stuff, and then trying to wake up early. And yeah, man, it gets tough. So it's just about managing. And but yeah, I'm set with my job now. So like everything's good with that. So now I'll get back on my schedule. I'll start doing the podcast weekly again. And then really with the clothing line, man, it's just timing, man. We're just it's like, because when we come back, like we want to come back, right? Hard, and, like hard. Yeah, we will. Yeah, hard. Yeah, like we want to launch it again and just like go hard with it. So that's just a timing thing. Like we could have started like at any point. I mean, again, COVID kind of like, I don't know, messed things up too. But when the timing's right, we'll jump back.
I'm not bullshit playing. How did the game make you? How did being an entrepreneur and owning your own business make Dylan who you are today? This happy family man, this creator.
I think what it does, man, it's just the motivation behind it, because there's nothing that motivates you more or motivates me more than the thought of like being an entrepreneur. So it's just like, just the thought of being an entrepreneur motivates me in everything I do. Like when I'm at like my last job, I was a salesman or a sales consultant. So like I had like a book of business. Like I had a book of my accounts. Like I sold to gyms and stuff, like sports supplement, energy drinks, protein drinks. Like I sold that to like gyms and stuff and smoothie bars. So like I was like, in my mind, I'm like, yo, I'm the CEO of my own book of business. Like these are my customers I have every month. Like I felt like I was part owner of every one of those businesses that I sold to. And that's like how the entrepreneurship, how the game like really gets in your mind and like helps you just stay motivated. So like it made me want to see my accounts succeed more and more, because I felt like I was the CEO. Like I treated it like I was an entrepreneur, even though I worked for a company and was a salesman. I make commissions, so it's like, I don't know, I treated it like that. And then same thing with mortgages, man. Like, I don't know, like I'm 100% commission. So it's like, they don't pay me salary. Like, I gotta go out, I gotta go get it. You know, I
hustle.
gotta hustle. So, and again, I have to give pretty much 100% credit to my brother, bro. Like, he was my bigger brother. So it's like, I learned from him, like, he was making earrings. So what did I do? I started making earrings and selling them in middle school. He was, like all this shit. Like, I mean, he made me too, you know? So, like, I would say, like, my brother made me, and yeah, like, the game made me, motivated, man. Like, that, I think that's the key word, motivation. Like, entrepreneurship is just, it's motivating. Because sky's the limit with entrepreneurship, you know?
Correct.
You're free to make as much money as you want.
New week, new money, baby.
Hey, new week, new money. Shout out to Jay's Custom. You know, like that would. I mean, think about that. My brother every Monday would say, "New week, new money." Like, just that's that mindset. You know, like without that, you gotta have that mindset, basically.
Correct. That's what's up, man. Again, rest in peace to Jay Custom.
Yeah, man. Rest in peace, my brother.
Yeah, he was a real cool dude, man. Real cool dude.
Yeah, man.
Talk briefly about goals you got set for, I guess, your podcast. We heard a little bit about the clothing line. Like, what goals do you have set for your podcast?
Yeah, the goals for that is really networking too. Like, you know, I want to use that. Like, I want to build out my website more, so that we can start like selling stuff on the website. And I'll probably be making. Either I'm going to use Royal Legacy and co-brand it. So, like, Royal Legacy will come out with Hustlepreneur shirts. Like, so it'll have, like, motivational sayings, like, I don't know, like, hustle hard, whatever. So we'll do stuff like that on the website and sell other things. I'm still trying to figure that out. But the main thing is, just every week try to have new people on so that, and build a viewer base that really knows, like, okay, every week I can come on and learn something new from different business owners or different people that can help, because at the end of the day, business is business, and learning, like, you can translate stuff from, if a guy owns, say again, Moneyball, you can translate that into owning a supplement store. Like, it's, the mindsets are still the same. Obviously, you're selling different things, but it's just kind of going through that stuff, and I'm doing it for fun, but obviously I would love to get to the point where, like, I have enough subscribers, enough views where I can monetize it and obviously make money from the podcast also. But the point of it is basically networking, because I'm meeting these people too. Quite a few of these people that I've interviewed so far, I didn't have their phone numbers. I didn't have Desmond's phone number prior to the podcast, but, like, he offered it to me, said to stay in contact and stuff like that. So, I mean, that's big right there. Again, like, the real estate guy wholesaling and flipping houses, like, he, again, gave me his phone number. So it's like, I didn't have his phone number prior. So it's creating that type of stuff,
Yeah, that's what's up. So, what other, like, skills do Dylan have besides, just hustle?
I can shoot a mean 3-point shot. I know that.
Oh yeah, I remember them. I remember those back in the day.
I ain't done it in a while, but I think I still got it.
Yeah, we getting old, baby.
I know, man. Yo, I took a long walk with my son the other day, and, like, my knee swelled up, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, why is my knee swollen? Like, I'm not even 30 yet. Like, why is my knee swollen right now? I still have no idea why it swelled up. Like, I'm just like, all right, whatever. I guess I'm getting old. I don't know. But yeah, no, man. I mean, I obviously try not to, like, I have a bad habit, basically, of, like, feeling like I always need to learn something myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's actually what I'm trying to work on recently, is, like, knowing when to, like, maybe, because, like, I try to be frugal, basically. So it's like, I don't want to, like, pay for something if I feel like I can do it myself. But sometimes it's like, yeah, I mean, you need to, like, spend the money to have somebody do something for you. I think the main things that I know now, or that I want to be, like, real knowledgeable in, is real estate, stock market investing, and, like, Facebook ads and like, advertising. because you can pretty much take those and do whatever with it. Like, you know, like Facebook ads, like I could start a ton of different businesses if I know how to, you know, market it and do the Facebook ads and stuff. But so that's like the main things like that I know now, like I'm pretty good at, but like that I want to like really like push, and like that's why I want to push harder with and learn, you know, more stuff about.
Yeah, because I just tapped in with that day trading, Brianna Black.
Yep.
And man, it's just time, you know what I'm saying? Because it's another income, it's another way to make money, you know what I'm saying? It's no gimmicks, no none of that. It's like it's serious. So I tapped in with that, you know, and then working a 9 to 5 and also doing the podcast, you know what I'm saying? And being a family man, I must tip my hat off to you and say, yes, it's a hard thing to do.
It is hard, ain't it, man?
Yes, it is a hard thing to do, but you know, it's all working out, man, because again, it's something that we want to do and we chasing it, you know, and we doing the things at our own pace.
Yeah. Because you don't know how to manage it until you start doing it. Then you learn, okay, like I can only do this at this time. I can only, you know, like I said, I started to realize like, man, I just have to wait till my, you know, wife and son go to bed and then I work on this. Or, you know, I do the podcast every Saturday morning at 10. Like that's kind of like 10 or 11. Like that's when I record it and I put it up for Monday because that just works with my schedule, you know? So it's like just getting organized and like figuring out a schedule. That's what like really, that's a game changer right there.
You
it's
know,
just
for real.
Being organized like that. Realizing like, oh, okay, like all my kids and everybody's asleep. They don't wake up till 8 a.m. So like, all right, I'm gonna get up at 6. You know, like I'm gonna make sure I get up at 6 every day. So I got 2 hours, like, you know, do whatever I need to do with business. So, you know, it's just different stuff like that.
Time management is very important.
Yeah.
I ain't bullshitting, because if you don't, you know, manage that time, it'll be so much things, so much stuff everywhere. You'll be forgetting stuff. You'll lose this. You'll do this wrong. You have to go back. You know, just time management is key.
Yeah, not for sure. Like, and that's what I've learned too. Because it's just over time, like you just learn them, and that's why I suggest too is everybody should follow. They call it, I think it was Grant Cardone. He's a big real estate mogul. They call it your Dream 100. So like social media is a big thing now. So you should. It seems like a long list, but it's really not that long when you think about it. But basically, you should be following. You should create a list of your Dream 100 people, like that you want to influence you, that you like role models. And you should be following them on every social network you have, like Instagram, Facebook, whatever. Like, find them, Twitter, like find them and follow them. Because if you're getting on Instagram and Facebook, like you want to see what they're doing every day or what they're posting and like be motivated by them. So like I follow The Rock, I follow like Mark Wahlberg, Kevin Hart, Grant Cardone, in a bunch of different industries. Did it freeze?
Yeah, it did, yeah.
Oh, no, okay. No, yeah, but it's like, yo, I just follow all of those people, and it just motivates you, you know?
Yeah.
Like if you're on Instagram following like a bunch of like nonsense, like how's that going to motivate you, or how are you going to learn from that, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
I listen to them on the Breakfast Club. It's what you have around you, and it's what you know what I'm saying, perceive around you, what you chase. You know, you chase the wrong things, that's where you're going to go. You know what I'm saying? Different things like that. So, yeah, you're right about that one.
Yeah, and that Dream 100 can include local people. Like, it doesn't have to be like millionaires, you know? Like, it could be like friends that are just in the same. Because obviously you're gonna follow your friends too. It's not like it's telling you to like unfollow anybody, but it's just saying like make sure you're following your Dream 100, like people you know that motivate you basically.
Yes, that you want to learn from and you want to gain knowledge of and also support. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Okay. So where can we find Royal Legacy Clothing website? Is it just...
Yeah, so basically we made it simple. So it's just royallegacyclothing.com. Like I said, the website is up. It's active. We still got clothes on there. Most things are discounted just because we're running low on inventory with what's left. But yeah, Royal Legacy Clothing. You know, you can use Royal 15 for 15% off.
Tap in.
This little man will appreciate, you know, if people check it out. You know, that's my legacy right there. You know, that's what I'm trying to, you know, do it for and leave behind a good legacy so he can you know, so he has something to, you know,
something to fall
to be
back
proud
on.
of his daddy about, you know.
Yeah, he can pick up that legacy.
Exactly.
You know, just like you got it. What about hustle? What about hustlepreneur life? Where can we find social media?
Yeah, I made that easy. So, like, social media for Royal Legacy is the same thing. Royal Legacy Clothing, Hustlepreneur Life. It's the Hustlepreneur Life. So it's the same thing on Facebook, same thing on Instagram, same thing on YouTube, and then same thing with the website, thehustlepreneurlife.com /podcast links. It's in my bio. If you actually go to hustlepreneurlife.com, there's no website up yet. I don't think I have it in maintenance mode, so you'll get to the website and it'll be like something random, you know. So there's no website truly up for that. But we do have audio versions of the podcast also. So if you're not like a visual person, Anchor, right?
Anchor, yes.
Anchor.
Yes,
yeah. Anybody trying to start a podcast out there, I was put on Anchor, and so I put Mario on Anchor also. Like, it basically distributes your podcast onto like all the audio platforms. It's a game changer.
For real, and they offer a sponsorship for you to be your first sponsor. You can get sponsors from other people. Like, it's dope. So
free too. That's what's dope about it too.
Free. Yeah. So to everybody that's thinking about starting a podcast or want to do a podcast, YouTube, Anchor, OBS Studios, like it's so many different things out there. You just gotta kind of YouTube them and do some research.
Free Fitty.
You see? Look at that.
All of them. Yeah. All of them. All three of those free, you know? So that's what I'm saying, man. There's no excuses nowadays, really. Like, shit's free out there. There's so many free things out there to do, you know? Like, I don't know, man. Like, you can create your own Canva. There's this thing called canva.com where you can create your own logo for free. Like, it gives you templates. Like again, I think me and you talked about that, man. Like, it's a lot of people stop from starting because, like, they're like worried. Like, they think they have to have like the finished product, like, ready to go first step. And it's like, I think, like I said, the game changer for me is when I always saw that thing that said, like, you know, your first podcast will suck, your first clothing will suck, your first whatever. It was just pretty much telling you, like, yo, get over it. Like, you have to start at some point, and then of course you're naturally going to get better as you go. But like, if you never start because you're like afraid, or you think it's gonna, I don't know, like, you just have to get over that and just start, you know? Yeah. There's no excuses, really.
It ain't, man. That's why I'm coming raw and uncut with just me, you know what I'm saying? I have a professionalism to it, you know, especially on the small business and entrepreneur side, you know, but if I turn around and monetize and do everything, then I want to know, you know, I want to be able to express all different forms of life and express it in different ways, you know? I don't want to have to put a filter on it, if you catch my drift. What's up, man?
Yeah, man.
I want to salute to you, man, for helping me start this thing, man, jumping on this thing with me, doing the interview and everything, man.
No problem, man. See, we're out here hustling, man. I got my wife's away. I got my son. I got like a tablet for him right now. I got the TV because I wanted to make this interview happen. So it's like, you know, I got him running around. We've been pausing if he's been coming up, you know, like, you know, we'll edit those out. But it's like, yo, we're making it happen, you know? No excuses, you know? Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, again, I appreciate it. And, you know, we keep updated with each other. Again, go follow the Hustlepreneur Life social media, Royal Legacy social media website. Make sure you go to the YouTube channel too. You got Ron Ferg on there, real estate agents. So many different things on there, good content on there. Go check them out, man. Subscribe, like, give them some feedback. It's the same with Game Made Me. Go there, subscribe, like, give feedback. It's well needed.
Yeah, man, like, for sure, comment below. I always tell people, like, yo, please comment what you want to see, man, because Mario can make it happen, I can make it happen. Like, yo, if you want to see somebody from a particular thing, like, if you want to see, like I said, like a real estate agent, or you want to see something like that, like, comment below. Like,
comment below.
Exactly.
Yes, man. Well, all right, bro, man, I appreciate you, man. I ain't gonna hold up too much more of your time, man. I'll let you get back to the kiddo, man, but again,
I appreciate it.
This ain't the last time. You will be back.
No, it ain't the last time.
You know
I know, man.
You know it.
We'll be talking.
All right, G.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, man.